Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are digging into a really powerful framework called design thinking. It's a process that innovators everywhere use to create things that people actually want and need. It's pretty cool. Okay, let's get into it.
But first, let me ask you a question. Why do so many great ideas just fail? I mean, we've all seen this happen, right? A new product launches with a ton of hype, or some new service promises to change the world, and then poof, a few months later, it's just gone. So, what is going on there?
Well, here's the thing. The secret isn't always about how brilliant the initial idea is. It actually comes down to the process you use to develop it. See, the real key is how you go about solving the problem, not just what you think the solution is from the get-go. And this is exactly where design thinking comes into play. It's an approach that kind of flips traditional problem solving on its head.
So, what is it? At its core, design thinking is an innovative way to solve problems that starts and ends with people, your users, your customers. The whole point is to develop genuinely better solutions by building empathy and understanding them before you even start building a thing.
So, what makes it so different from other methods? Well, design thinking is really built on three core features that make it stand out. Let's break those down.
First off, it's iterative. A traditional process moves in a straight line. You do step A, then B, then C. But with design thinking, it's way more flexible. You might go from A to B to C and then realize, wait a minute, and loop right back to B to rethink something. It's a process that's built for learning and adapting as you go.
Second, it's person-centered. I love this quote. Think of it as walking in the shoes of the customer. You're not just designing in a vacuum from your office. You're trying to design for a real person with real needs, wants, and everyday challenges. And third, it's solution-centered. This just means that the goal isn't just to find any solution, it's to find the best possible solution. It really pushes you to go beyond the quick fix or the cheapest option and find something that is both innovative and truly practical.
Okay, so that's the theory. But how does this actually work in practice? We're going to follow a single idea through its four-phase journey. And to make this super clear, we'll use a simple example. A school cafe that wants to cut down on food waste.
Here's our roadmap. The four phases are clarify, ideate, develop, and implement. Now, it looks like a straight line here, but don't forget what we just said. It's an iterative loop. You can jump back and forth between these stages at any time. Let's start with phase one, clarify. This is all about empathy. Before you even start thinking about solutions, you have to dig deep and really understand the problem from the user's point of view. That means doing research, watching people, and actually talking to them to figure out what their real challenges are. So, back at our school cafe, the manager doesn't just assume they know what's wrong. They get out there and talk to the students. And they find out that food is being wasted for two main reasons. The portions are too big for some, and the long lines make people just grab anything instead of what they really want. They've clarified the real problem. And that leads us right into phase two, ideate. Once you truly get the problem, it's time to brainstorm. The whole goal here is to generate as many ideas as possible. And this is key. You're going for quantity over quality. No idea is too wild or too silly at this stage. So what happens at the cafe? The students and staff get together and ideas just start flying around. Smaller portion sizes, maybe some new meal deals, compost bins for the leftovers. And then a more high-tech idea comes up. What about a pre-ordering app to get rid of the lines? Every possibility is on the table. Now, we're moving into phase three, develop. This is where you take your most promising ideas and build simple, low-cost prototypes. A prototype isn't the finished product. It's just a testable model that lets you get real feedback from real users, fast and cheap. So, the cafe team thinks that the pre-ordering app idea has the most potential. But they don't spend months and a ton of money building a perfect app. Nope. Instead, they create a really simple, basic working version and get a small group of students to test it out. And this right here is absolutely crucial. The feedback from that test might show the app is confusing, or maybe it's missing a key feature. And that could send the team right back to the ideation phase to brainstorm new features, or even all the way back to the clarify phase to better understand what students really need. That is that iterative loop in action. So finally, after all that testing and refining based on feedback, we get to phase four, implement. This is the big launch. You roll out the final polished solution to everyone. But, and this is important, the work doesn't stop. You keep collecting feedback for future improvements. And that's what our school cafe does. It launches its shiny, refined app to the entire school, and they keep a close eye on sales, they track food waste levels, and they keep listening to student feedback. The process is never really done. It's always open to the next improvement.
So that's the process in a nutshell. But why does this really matter beyond a school cafe example? Let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture. The truth is, this framework applies almost anywhere. If you're an entrepreneur, it dramatically reduces your financial risk by letting you test ideas early and cheaply. If your company is going through a digital transformation, it makes sure the new tech actually solves real human problems. It even applies to huge challenges like sustainability by helping us create solutions with more empathy for our communities and our planet. At the end of the day, it's just smart. It stops you from wasting a ton of time and money building something that nobody actually wants.
Okay, let's put it all together. If you only remember 3 things from this entire explainer, I want it to be these. So to sum it all up, what is design thinking? It's a framework that puts people first. How does it work? Through that flexible 4-phase loop. Clarify, ideate, develop, and implement that lets you learn as you go. And why is it so powerful? Because it lowers your risk of failure and helps you create truly innovative solutions that people will actually use and love.
And that leaves us with one final thought to take with you. Just look at the world around you, at your job, at home, in your community. What problem is just sitting there waiting for someone like you to apply a designer's eye?